Greetings. Today I want to talk about 7 keys for how you can transfer your hard-won expertise without endless training or spoon feeding. If you have built a business and you're doing something complex, perhaps technical, then you know the feeling. Most likely, you have a team and you do some training. They come with a lot of training. They've got advanced degrees, and yet there's so much special expertise that is important to your business, and you give it little by little. And we call that mentoring, but often it ends up spoon feeding and it ties you up. It really eliminates the ability to have time for strategic thinking, new innovation, and God forbid, a little bit of time for yourself. So here are the 7 things. The first one is, let me pull this over here, is that one of the fastest ways to transfer knowledge from your brain into a knowledge transfer system is to simply turn the video camera on, could be your cell phone even, and start talking about it. So now that knowledge has already become more valuable. It may not be amazingly well organized yet, there may be pieces missing, etc. But that is really one of the fastest ways to get knowledge out of your brain and have it documented. The second thing is that, of course, an outline is helpful. If you can quickly jot one down, then that's very helpful and worth doing. If that seems overwhelming, then do that later. Record that first video first. And then from that, you can actually get to an outline more quickly. The next insight, the third one, is that the approach to create a minimum viable product is amazingly important. It's super important. And of course, we bump up against our perfectionism. I know that myself. I'm a recovering perfectionist, as many of my friends will attest. But it's so important because otherwise, you miss out on a lot of opportunity, and you miss out on a lot of time freedom, as well as money. And you just actually cannot even create a training system without putting it into use. You can't perfect it without putting into use. So it's important to get started and make it better over time. The fourth insight is this: AI or key insight or key is this: the use of AI can tremendously speed up the process of sifting through these videos and pulling out the key nuggets. And so the best way, of course, is to create transcripts and then to put it into AI and ask it with the right prompts to pull out those key points. So that's not completely flawless. However, you still need to use your judgment and look at it, but it speeds things up considerably. The next point, the fifth one, is this: you still need some fresh eyes to fill gaps that you're not aware of, because some of what you do is automatic to you, and it's triggered by questions or situations. And only then does it come from your unconscious mind to the surface, where then it can be captured and written down. And so this the fifth insight is very important, because when you do discuss it with someone, or you do put it into use, and somebody says, well, what about this? Then that discovers or uncovers these gaps, and it uncovers places where there's more clarity needed. Number 6 is that actually you don't need to be super tech savvy. Now, many of you are probably quite tech savvy anyhow, but if you're not, it's okay. You can get help, and really, with a little bit of training, it's going to go pretty easily. And in fact, that's one of the things that we do, is we do train how to do all of these things and step by step, and then we give implementation support as well, if you don't have that help internally. And then 7, which I just started to kind of introduce, is to take it step by step. But you need to make sure that the momentum keeps going, because otherwise it's just way too easy to start and then stop and then not start again for a long time. So repeat those 7 things one more time. Recording your knowledge right into a video camera is one of the fastest ways to get knowledge from your brain into some form of documentation. It's important to store these videos at a place where you can find them again and name them so that there's some sort of insight about what's in them. Then, if you can, before you record these videos, create an outline. That's very helpful. If that seems overwhelming, don't worry about it. You can get an outline later. So, for example, I created a Q&A yesterday, and we talked about what we're talking about here, namely, how can I pull knowledge out of my brain? I call that brilliance mining, and create training systems out of that. And how can we use AI to speed that up? In fact, we're going to have another Q&A next Wednesday. So I will put the link underneath. All right. So, and what I did is I recorded, of course, the Q&A session, and I am using the transcript of that to create an outline for a new course. In fact, I did that this morning. So that's how quickly that can be done. I had created an outline before, but actually the Q&A helped to make an even better outline. So there's that. So outline is helpful. That's number 2. Number 3 is a minimum viable product is really very helpful. Put something together, then start training someone. Or if you're building a course that's intended for a target audience outside of your company, maybe you're selling a course, run a beta. In fact, that's what we're doing as well. And then you give extra support and extra attention while you're running the beta, and you give people a price break, if you're selling it as well. So they're getting really like a phenomenal deal. And you get a phenomenal deal as well, because you're testing what you have created and see where there's more help needed and more clarity help needed. Then 4, AI speed things up a lot, so you can process transcripts faster than ever. You still need human judgment, your judgment. Number 5, you need fresh eyes. That can actually be done in conjunction with those beta tests or with those early trainees, at least to some extent. And then 6, you can do it even if you're not tech savvy. All of this is learnable, and you can get implementation support. And it doesn't really take very long to get up to speed with all this. And then take it step by step, but keep momentum. One little step at a time. So one little video, one little transcript processing at a time, and you'll get there. So I invite you to the interactive Q&A session that we have coming up on Wednesday. It'll be very personal. You can't buy a thing there. That's not what this is for, and it's not a webinar. So I hope to see you there. Until then, ciao.